A new study has come out that will undoubtedly upset religious fundamentalist conservatives. An analysis on previous research on the subject of porn addiction finds that there is actually no such thing as porn addiction. Now, that saying porn is addicting is simply a result of cultural biases. Now, the research was published last month in the journal Current Sexual Health Reports, and it points out problems with the study into porn addiction, such as poorly conducted experiments, conclusions based on anecdotes, and limited sample sizes. That's always good. Now, a lot of this research is according to the study's lead author, David Ley. Kind of ironic, David Ley doing a sex study. Come on. Anyway, he said many of these clinicians are themselves self-identified porn addicts who are treating others who self-identify as addicts. They base their writings upon their own clinical experience and anecdotes. Sounds sort of familiar. You guys remember the gay reparative therapy things that were going on? Sounds kind of similar to that. Now, another problem with these studies are that they were only cross-sectional, meaning that they may describe how certain groups of people act, but actually didn't show any relationship between cause and effect. Now, the result, according to Ley, is that research is subject to many different forms of bias. Now, a really important piece of this research shows that subjects to self-report porn addiction are usually religious, gay, or bisexual men. And earlier studies show that these people often feel like they're addicted to porn, even if they've only seen it maybe once or twice. And that's really sort of fascinating on that. Now, another criticism of this analysis points out that many who are pushing the porn addiction model usually run places like porn rehabilitation clinics, and of course are almost always exclusively religiously conservative. Fascinating. Now, people who push this war on porn have been quoted saying incredibly stupid things. Now, for example, back in 2004, a group of people met before the Senate Science, Technology, and Space Subcommittee to discuss this addiction of internet porn. Now, Mary Ann Layden, who was one of those people at that subcommittee hearing, she told them that, quote, the internet is a perfect drug delivery system because you are anonymous, aroused, and have role models for these behaviors. To have a drug pumped into your house 24/7, free, and children know how to use it better than grown-ups know how to use it. It's a perfect delivery system if we want to have a whole generation of young addicts who will never have the drug out of their mind. I love the rhetoric of them calling porn a drug, like it's alcohol or something. Anyway, she continues, pornography addicts have a more difficult time recovering from their addiction than cocaine addicts, since coke users can get the drug out of their system, but pornographic images stay in the brain forever. One psychologist that was there claimed prolonged exposure to pornography stimulates a preference for depictions of group sex, sadomasochistic practices, and sexual contact with animals. Porn will lead you to have sex with horses. Or cows if you're into that sort of thing. That's what this psychologist claimed. The panelists all agreed that the government should fund health campaigns to educate the public about the dangers of porn. Now, this is important because this is how they perceive pornography, as some sort of drug that gets into your brain that you can only solve with Jesus. Now, I'd like to ask you guys about the shame angle to this because I find it fascinating that gay and bisexual men are the most likely to say that they have a porn addiction. Now, why do you guys think that is? Sean.
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Stephen.
Well, I was just going to say, I think really that's down to kind of the culture that people live in. That people are still being repressed, and I don't think that will be as big an issue as time goes on, as the LGBT movement kind of progresses and makes ground in kind of affecting people's views on that. But I think that's the reason why it seems to be a higher percentage in terms of kind of porn addiction in those kind of categories of people.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely seems like it's that. I mean, there's a lot of people that are still very, very uncomfortable with gay sex here in America. Even though a majority of people, 59%, think gay marriage is cool, a majority still thinks that gay sex is nasty, right? So there's definitely that shame angle when you're gay or bisexual and you're looking up that kind of porn that turns you on, right, as a man, and you're going to look at that, and if somebody knows that you're looking at that, or or you think that somebody knows you've been looking at that, you're going to feel really ashamed. You're like, I can't help it. I must be addicted to porn.
I mean, the thing is that there's so many studies that show kind of the health benefits of watching porn. I mean, I'm not saying it's healthy to just lock yourself away in a room 24/7 and just watch, every single type of porn out there. But
Like that Mormon commercial at BYU.
Oh yeah, that was just creepy. But I mean, like, there's no way you could do a study, and it's pure kind of speculation. But I reckon there are a number of kind of like murders and aggravated assaults and kind of attempted rapes that haven't gone on because men have just been able to, go on the internet, watch some porn, and calm themselves down that way. If there was no internet porn, there'd be a lot more kind of aggressive sexual attacks in the public. I'm absolutely sure of that. No way to prove it, but I'd be just amazed if that weren't the case.
I would question that because I come from a criminal justice background and they teach you a lot of things about how most rape is about like control and like it's not really about the sex itself. But so I would question that.
Yeah, not necessarily
but,
rape, but I mean just even like murder as well. Some guy gets really angry and stuff, and he can just go and watch some porn and relax.
You can watch, right, or you go to work.
So feeling murderous, sit down,
porn,
get some porn, and rub one out. You'll feel better.
Right.
You'll feel less murderous.
Until after. But
yeah.
But to go to your point, there are studies that say that the people who watch more I say quote unquote degrading porn because in reality the porn actress has agreed to all of this stuff beforehand. But those who watch that kind of porn are actually less likely to commit sexual violence or whatever. So there are some studies to lend that credence. But I'm actually really glad that this article came out because I thought I was a porn addict for a while, and I have 2 screens in front of me, and the temptation was always there, and I never felt like my friends were gonna come save me. Because I felt like a fallen soldier until I read this article, and I needed my fellow soldiers to come and save me. And I tried calling BYU, and they just wouldn't send anybody over. So this story actually made me really happy that porn addiction isn't a real thing, and I'm just a normal humanoid who likes to watch porn. And what was the thing that they say that we go from porn to?
But that thing that they said is you're never supposed to leave a man behind, right?
But in the article it said that we go from porn to group porn to more violent porn
to animal porn,
more violent group porn, and then to animal porn. I'm glad that that's totally natural and I'm not an addict because that's the exact trajectory I went on.
I can't believe that BYU just didn't send a girl around to help you with your addiction. Get over it.
I know.
But the two issues I have with kind of the article is the title of the article, "There is no such thing as porn addiction," says new research. And I think there is such a thing as porn addiction, but I think it's so, you can be addicted to anything. You can be addicted to licking stamps. You can be addicted to kind of sniffing people's hair. It's possible to be addicted to anything. It's a psychological...
Addiction to money. I do believe that exists.
Yeah, it's a psychological disorder. And my other issues is and it mentions it in the article, one of the problems with how this new research saying there is no such thing as porn addiction. They're saying all previous studies don't have any firm grasp of how to define porn, and it's really difficult to define porn. I mean, because when you say try to define what is sex, people might say, oh, it just requires penetration, but then lesbians can't have sex, and it's really difficult to define these kind of ambiguous terms, and that's why research is really difficult. Currently I'm doing research about emotions and stuff, and it's really difficult to try and classify emotions in a cohesive way. And so, like, there is such a thing as porn addiction, but there's not going to be any kind of useful research that would come out towards it until, firstly, all the biases and kind of stigma attached to certain types of porn are gotten rid of out of society, and that'll probably never happen, to be honest. And also when they finally have a firm definition of what porn is, because it's only then you can go on to then quantify it, do research.
Right.
Well, here's the thing about a lot of the research that affirms like a porn addiction is that most of the research and most of the books and most of the things and studies that came out that say that there is a porn addiction, you got to look at the sourcing from that. A lot of those come from religious, ultra-religious conservatives that are the same kind of people who would run those camps to rehabilitate gays,
Right.
from being gay. And a lot of this is like, I was an ex-porn addict. And,
Bullshit.
you look at the same, like, you look at that kind of parallel line with the gay. I was ex-gay, and now I'm doing this reparative therapy. I used to look at porn, now I'm doing this porn therapy. It seems like a lot of these people are just out to make kind of a dollar on this whole thing.
But my question is, like, if porn is a drug, and according to the porn addict, the proponents of porn addiction, that it's a real thing, you scale up your usage. My question is why haven't we banned Cinemax? Because that's obviously a gateway drug.
Or otherwise known as Skinemax.
Right. Why haven't we banned that?
That's a good question. That is
Why haven't we launched a war on porn and put people in jail for viewing Cinemax?
Look, I see what you're doing there, and that's actually incredibly fantastic. Making a parallel between this and the war on drugs that will obviously fail. Because the war on drugs has failed.
Right, and if it did fail, would we decriminalize Cinemax in all states, or just 2 states, or like what would be the process there? Could you get medical Cinemax?
Well, I mean, it always amazes me is that, I can understand that why people think they could have a successful war on drugs and things like that, but the idea that people think they can win a war on porn and they can stop all porn on the internet. Recently in the UK, some legislation was passed so that all the internet service providers, so, your Virgin, British Telecom and so on, that when people now sign up for a new contract to the internet, they've got to actively select to turn off the adult filters, because people kind of lobbied and stuff saying, children are able to access porn and that's a bad thing and so on and so forth. So now people have to actively say, yes, I want to access over 18 content. And that's for absolutely everyone now in the UK that's happening. And it's more of a kind of a case that you can't win against the internet, no matter what your cause is, no matter how good or evil or noble or whatever. You're not gonna win. The internet is its own body, and you can't destroy porn, and you can't destroy anything that's
Right.
on the internet.
And that creates 2 problems. The English law that you're referring to.
Yeah.
One, it creates a list of people who actively seek out porn, right? Which is super uncomfortable if you ever have somebody run for office.
GCHQ already knows all of our search histories, so
No, but I'm saying, like, you call your cable company, and that creates like an active, or your internet company, and that creates an active list of people who want porn. So, like, good luck running for like parliament.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
pretty
that's the
screwed
thing.
there.
There's a whole argument about whether it should be an opt-in or opt-out sort of service, and it turns out in the end you have to opt in to the adult material, which is, I think, is ridiculous.
It should be the reverse. You should opt out of porn. But also the other problem that creates is the kid. You just made the kid's father, who opted into porn, you just made that kid the most popular kid in the entire school. Because, like, that's where they're going to go hang out after school, and then you're going to get awkward kids, like, watching porn together, which is weirder than watching it alone.
Now, you guys brought up a couple of really good points about the running for office and stuff like that. And I just kind of want to go over to the political people who are attempting to do this war on porn. And I wanted to kind of point out the irony of some of those people who are going after porn, and you've got people like Rick Santorum that would ban porn. Michelle Bachmann definitely would ban porn, and these people call themselves small government conservatives.
No, I've got the even better one for that. One of my journalist friends retweeted the story. It's today. One of the conservative MPs, our conservatives aren't as conservative as your kind of Republican friends, but one of the people who is a proponent of this bill that, so you have to opt into the adult content and stuff for the ISPs, he was recently convicted and found to have child pornography on his laptop. So he was the one who was saying, no, you've got to opt in, we've got to try and keep the kids safe. And he was a paedophile. It's just incredible, the hypocrisy of it. I mean, Rick Santorum and stuff aren't at that extent, but I mean,
that we know of.
Yeah, you ask questions.
And so, and look, there's been a lot of studies that show that, like the places where they're more religious, they often do more porn searches. They watch porn more often, and some of the funniest, searches for porn come from the South of America. And some of the, like a lot of gay porn, they look up in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Which is sort of hilarious, and it kind of goes into that whole
forbidden
like
fruit.
Shame, like, oh, it's so dirty. My God, it's so dirty. I can't let anybody else do it since I do it too.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's the thing. It's all the kind of the Republicans and kind of the right wing and stuff. They want to say, I want to kind of criminalize homosexuality because then I feel dirty when I'm doing it. Like that's why they want to do it.
But I want to get to the third thing that I forgot about, that England style law that's bad, and we're having, like, in America we're gonna get there eventually, I think, it's also and forgive the pun, a backdoor way into censoring the internet, because you're having to opt into all this content and all that. So it's like I don't want it, like, the internet's fine, like there's no porn addiction. Even if there is porn addiction, you know what? Close your computer, relax. It's not a big deal. Just.
But the people are going, think of the children. Think of the children. It's just like, but like porn is perfectly healthy. I mean, okay, maybe 3-year-olds and stuff shouldn't be looking at certain types of porn. I agree with that, but you shouldn't be letting your 3-year-old loose on an iPad or whatever on the internet without supervision. Anyway, kids have got.
But they're gonna see it.
Yeah, they're gonna see it anyway.
Well, actually, that's not true.
And here's another hypocrisy that I want to point out too. Those same people, like, you got to protect the children from accessing porn. They're going to get a hold of your, whatever. Are the same kinds of people that will just leave their gun and load it on the coffee table and not expect their kid to shoot themselves in their own face.
Yeah, but there's a difference in there, because when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And I went onto a porn site and it said you must be 18 to enter or 21 in certain states. I actually looked up the legal age in my state and I put no, and they sent me to a different site. So they do have barriers that prevent kids from entering the sites. That's really
a lot of willpower. I'm amazed. That's the first case, I think, of anyone under the age of 18 saying, no, the internet's right, I better not go on that website.
Yeah, I better not go to that porn site.
I'm totally full of shit. Like, I'm obviously not serious. Of course I clicked I am 18.
Of course.
Enter.
Enter.
Goes too.
I can't click enter fast enough. Go.
I didn't even read it. Just one said enter, the other said exit. I was like, whoa. No, but in all seriousness, like, it's up to the parent to install parental controls on their computer. And, like, I get, like, the argument that, yeah, your kids probably know your computer better than you. Well, maybe you should learn if you care about your kids. Like, you're asking the government to do a job, or like when you go for those porn bans that you should be doing. And then if you catch your kid watching porn, I don't know what I just said. If you catch your kid watching porn, don't send him to rehab. Try this newfangled 21st century thing called talking to him. Like, it's not that hard.
Or create a YouTube video explaining why you think they shouldn't watch porn. Put it up on YouTube and then send the link to the kid. That's like a more modern way of parenting, I think.
Yeah. Look, and by the way,
wait, I just said it's not that hard and nobody laughed.
See, no, that's what I was going to address. You guys got to be proud of me because there have been so many different times here that I could have been Beavis and Butthead dirty, and I didn't. You guys have to be proud. I mean, come on, Steven. Earlier you were like, we got a firm grasp of something. And it might be kind of hard. Come on, dude. Come on.
You've really been on top of this situation.
I'm English. I'm not that churlish.
I am. I'll admit that. I'll admit that. So, all right. So, important things that we've learned from this story. A lot of Republicans have hypocrisy when it comes to porn, especially gay porn, and a lot of people that are feeling shame about this are gay and bisexual men because of our culture, and we have also learned that I am a child.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip, make sure to like and leave a comment below, or even share. Sharing is caring. If you want to see more TYT Nation videos, go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TYT Nation. Thank you for watching.